We're the Marine family, Marine Ranch and Canyon Meadows Ranch, and we're honored to be here today as finalist in the Leopold Award, and that's quite an honor for us. We appreciate that. We just, every year, we look for more projects that we can do to conserve the land and the water resources.
Over the last couple of decades, we've shifted from farming and finishing cattle in a feedlot to grazing and finishing cattle on pasture. We still harvest some hay, bale some hay off of this, but we also graze it. These steers are part of our Canyon Meadows Ranch natural grass-fed beef marketing program. They are about 18 months old and weighing 1,200 pounds or so now. Red Angus-based breeding with some crossbreeding in the bulls. And they are certified natural. They've never had antibiotics or hormones. And they're grass-fed and grass-finished. We've taken out miles of wire fence and largely replaced it with just portable fence that we move wherever we need it. The cows that are on the ranch grazing usually get moved every day, and we try to manage the grazing with the right density and intensity so that the animals are performing well, and we leave ground cover to conserve moisture in the soil and build soil as we go.
The bulk of our pairs run on 2 forest permits during the summer, June to mid-October. They're in the far horizon in the back there. Those mountains are made up of kind of ridges with draws and canyons, and the pasture's pretty good, but the stock water is a challenge. We've had to kind of spread the cows out to keep them watered. So over the years, we worked with the Forest Service and with Utah's Grazing Improvement Program to collect some of those springs together where we can, put in storage tanks, and then distribution lines off of there, and where we can, gravity feed out onto the ridges.
We have maintained the flood irrigation along with using sprinklers, that we maintain the groundwater and habitat by still keeping some of the flood irrigation.
With our electric fencing and managed grazing, we've actually grazed the cattle through areas like this regularly. The cattle will go in and kind of break it up and open it up, and the grass increases, and it makes it even better for the wildlife. I think the land has a voice, and if we kind of take a big picture look and look at the ground and the water and the plants and the animals and the people that are making a living off the land too, that it'll tell us how we're doing. I think it'll tell us when we make mistakes, and it shows us what we're doing that's working right too.
I'm Alan Mitchell, and this is my wife, Elizabeth Banyan Mitchell. And we're here at the Banyan Ranch, which is located near Vernon, Utah, in the West Desert. We are honored to be selected as finalists for the Utah Leopold Conservation Award.
The Banyan Ranch is basically a cow-calf operation, and recently we have added retained ownership of our sale calves, and we sell them farm to table. We run on 2,000 private acres and over 6,000 Forest Service permitted acres.
Some of our conservation projects have been fencing, putting troughs in and providing better water to several of our pastures, arrest rotation grazing on our pastures, on our private and on the Forest Service managed property. We've removed a lot of juniper and trees to help with the sage grouse. Recently I've been attempting regenerative agriculture cover crops on our crop land growing multiple species. This hillside was chained in 2008, double chained and seed flown on between the chainings. And one of the seeds introduced species is this four-winged saltbrush, which is very good for wildlife. Deer especially like it. Compared to what it was, which was pretty much a pinyon juniper forest, now we have lots of diversity of species, as we were saying, not only the four-wing, but the immigrant kochia, of course the sagebrush. A lot of the native species survived well, the blue bunch, wheatgrass, Indian rice grass. One of the first things we did in all of the conservation efforts was to get some good fences so we could keep the cattle where they should be, so the land wouldn't be overgrazed.
So here's one of the tire troughs. We use the NRCS design, and we keep getting better and better every time we put one of these in. But my favorite thing about these troughs, one of my favorite things, is the HDPE pipe that resists freezing, and we've buried it about 3 feet down. We've got these valve boxes. I can do a lot of different settings. I can have the water run through the trough and back on down the line. I can isolate this trough. I can turn it off.
The benefits of these beaver dam analogs: they slow the water down, they trap silt, especially in high water times, and they prevent erosion. They provide a great place for wildlife, as well as the fish, the trout, migrate up in these creeks. I think the concept of stewardship then is that we realize that we have to take care of that land, that it becomes part of us to the point that it owns us.
I don't know a life that isn't conservation and stewardship of the land.
In the morning when I get up and go to work, I step out my door in the morning's rays and I look at my fields and they're green. And that's what drives me to do what I do. It's life. The ability to see life regenerate, to grow crops, to see animals flourish, to see nature thrive, and to preserve those things. Hi, my name is Shay Lewis. I farm with my two brothers and my father. We farm quite a bit of ground, a lot of it's leased property. My great-great-grandfather came to this area in 1912 and bought a small parcel of ground. And then my grandfather continued to farm. We like to take care of the ground. We like to keep it tidy and things in repair and not have trash. We like to control erosion and make pastures better and have wildlife and its abundance all around. We used to own cattle, and then we had a drought and sold them all, but we continued to do what we've been doing: develop ponds, mowing, reseedings. In some areas where the cows grazed heavily, there isn't much of a grass stand left, and so we go in and reseed it by hand and try and get it to establish again. In a big flood event, a large rainstorm, we have a lot of sediment that will wash off the fields and fill up our ponds. We finally figure out a way to control it. We have ponds above that catch all the sediment, and then the ones below it are the ones that actually receive the water. So it's clean and it doesn't fill the pond up. That way we're able to maintain our springs, especially in a drought. That's one of the things we do for conservation. I'm married to a wonderful lady named Cheryl, and we have 5 children. However, 4 of them are in the military right now, and one's on a mission for her church, and they're unable to be with me on the video.